For this tutorial you will need some super giant yarn. Now I got this extreme yarn from Coco Crochet. I'll leave a link in the description box below along with an awesome discount code they've been kind enough to give us, so check that out down below. You want to start off by unraveling your yarn because you don't want this to pull at all as you're working with it. It's extremely delicate because it's unspun, so unravel as much as you can before you actually get started. As always, make sure that you subscribe to my channel to keep up to date with all of my latest videos, and if you are already subscribed then click that bell button and you'll be notified of when my videos go live. So I'm actually going to be making this on my bed. You want to find a nice big surface, nice big clear surface, so floor, bed, big table, whatever you can, just make sure that you've got a lot of room. And we're going to start off by making a slip knot. So first of all you want to take the end of your yarn and cross it over. So you're making a loop and then you're going to grab the yarn and pull that through, and that creates a slip knot. So just like this. I'm going to leave a little tail end so that we can tuck that in at the end. So you want your stitch to be about the width of your the palm of your hand, just here. What you're going to do is we're going to create our chain, and this is going to be the width of our blanket. So I'm going to be making a little bit of a runner for my bed to go along the base. So it's going to be wide and fairly thin, but obviously if you wanted to make a square blanket, decide how wide you want it to be. So this is our slip knot. You're going to insert your hand, use your fingertips to pull this yarn through and do it nice and gently. And this is going to be your first chain. So that's one, do it again, two, and I'm using my hand as a guide to see how big these stitches are going to be. And I'm going to keep going until this chain is the length that I want my runner to be. So insert your hand and pull through, measure with the palm of your hand, and then pull through. Try not to tug too much on the yarn because, as I mentioned, this is unspun yarn, so it's very, very delicate. So this is what the chain is starting to look like. What you want to do is continue that until you get to the length, so measuring from here to the end of what you want your project to be. Pause the video and meet me back in just a moment. Okay, so I have just done my chain and I have laid this down on my bed. I have a king size and I've done a chain of 28 to begin with, and I just wanted to show you the actual chain itself because it can look slightly different when it's in this larger yarn. So you can see these kind of V shapes, they are each chain and that's how you count them. And then if you turn this round, it just looks slightly different. You kind of have a V and a bubble, a V and a bubble. These bubbles are called back bumps, and that's what we're going to be working into on the way back down the chain. So if I just move this all the way down, as I say, I've chained 28. I'm actually going to add one more to that, so grab the yarn and pull it through in order to keep my chain at 28. So that's not going to class as a stitch. So now what we want to do, I'm just going to lay my yarn so that it's ready and easily to access. Remember, you don't want the yarn tugging too much. Okay, so let's have a look here. This is the way that I want my yarn to be laying, with these bumps going down. If you have it like this, then it's the wrong way. You want to have it like this. And we're going to do what's called a slip stitch all the way down. So you're going to insert your fingers, so you're going to keep this loop on your hand. You're going to insert your fingers through that back bump, and don't worry, this is the hardest row to do, and pull it through. So you have two loops on your hand, and then pull that through that loop, and again measure. You're going to leave this loop on your hand, insert your fingers through, pull it through. So you have 2 loops on your hand and then pull that through again. You're going to find that next bump, put your hand all the way through, fingers through, grab the yarn and put that onto your hand and pull through. Take your time with this. Keep pulling out the yarn. Make sure your chain's laying nicely. Grab this next bump, put your hand all the way through, fingers into that bump, and then pull through. Pull on the yarn, and then pull that through that yarn on your hand. Okay, when you turn this on the side like this is what your stitches are starting to build and look like. So we're just going to work our way all the way down. So hand all the way through, fingers through that back bump, grab the yarn, pull it up a little bit, and then pull through that chain that's on your hand. Grab your next back bump, hand in, fingers through, grab the yarn, pull it through a little bit, and then pull that through that loop that's on your hand. You want to do that all the way down your chain. So back bump, hand all the way through, fingers through, grab the yarn, and then pull through that chain on your hand. So go ahead, work your way all the way down and meet me once you get to the end of the chain and I'll show you how to finish off. Okay, so I've just worked my way all the way along the chain and you're left with this. Now, when you turn the work upwards like this, you should again see those V's. These are your stitches. When you count across, so when I count all the way across now, I have 28 stitches. However, this last one just here, if you remember, I said that's not classed as a stitch. So just remember that turning one that's like right on the edge is not classed as a stitch. Because if you class that as a stitch and do 28 and finish here, you're going to get this flappy bit on the end. So this last one is kind of hard to find, but you just have to find it in there, just close to where the knot is, and you're going to go ahead and put your last stitch. It's kind of a little bit tighter, but you're going to put your last stitch in there. And this is what it looks like. So you just need to bear in mind that this top section is this bit here. If you're looking from the side, it's a little bit tough to see, but you will get used to it the more that you build up. Be careful not to twist this too much. If you want to go across and just put something on those stitches so you know which ones they are, then please feel free to do that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to grab the yarn and pull it through for a chain, and we're going to turn our work the other way. So I'm going to leave my hand in and turn the whole chain the opposite way. So now we are looking at it from the opposite side, and now what we're going to do is work our way back along this chain. So if we look at where we are, we have a chain one and then we have a stitch just here. We have a stitch here, a stitch here, a stitch there. That is what we're going to work along. I'm going to go ahead and bring my yarn round the opposite way. You want to get into position, so bring the yarn around the back and go ahead and undo some more yarn as you need it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is locate that stitch at the base of this chain. So we're looking for that V just there, and we are going to put our hand through that loop and then put our fingers under both of those loops of the V, grab the yarn, pull it through, just tug on it a little bit and then pull it through again. That creates our first stitch. lay this down, put your hand in, through that next V, just here. So as we're looking, V, V, fingers through that V, pull it through, and then pull it through. That's 2 stitches. Hand through, into the V, pull through, and pull through the stitch that's on your hand. Next one, so it's always helpful if you find where you're going through with this hand first. Go into there, pull through, and pull through. And you can see that this blanket is starting to build up the rows now. So hand in, find that next V, fingers in, pull through, and pull through. Next one, hand through, pull through, and pull through. And it's just a matter of doing this all the way along, taking your time, trying to keep an eye on where the tops of your stitches are. That's why I like to put my fingers in just here, so that I know exactly where I'm going for my next stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this row, pause the video, and I'll meet you back at the end. Okay, so this is my row 2 built. I've gone all the way to the end with my 28 stitches. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the yarn and pull it through to make a chain. I'm going to lay that down and then pull everything back the other way. So now, if you lay this down, making sure that your loop is on the top and you can see the tops of your stitches just here, you're going to do exactly the same thing all the way across, and you're just going to keep building and building your rows until you get to the height of project that you want, or until you run out of yarn. So I'm going to go ahead and build this, and then once I've finished my runner, my bed runner, I will come back and show you the finished item, and I will show you how to finish off. So pause the video, keep working your rows, rewind if you need to, and I'll show you my finished work. Okay, so I have now done all of my rows. I've been left with this much of my ball left. I tried to go again to see if it was enough. It was about double the width, and it wasn't. It got about a quarter of a way, so I guess one row of this is about 4 lengths of the width. So yeah, I've done my very last stitch just in here, and what I'm going to do is grab the yarn and pull it through, and then I'm going to take a long end and take my scissors, this is the scary part, and cut that off. Pull that all the way through, and then I'm just going to weave this in to the work a little bit. So what I'm going to do is go one way, just taking it through the chains just to kind of disguise it a little bit, and then, in fact, I'm going to go through this one, and then I'm going to work back the other way. So I'm going to take it in here, and then up through there, and then I'm going to take it back the other way one more time. I'm going to go in these stitches in here, I think. So you're just trying to sort of go into random stitches so that it's not just kind of straight across, so that it becomes entwined in the work. Okay, what I'm going to do now is snip that off and push it in. Now we have our finished runner, and it's so beautiful. You can just kind of shape it a little bit, pull it out a little bit, but isn't that just gorgeous? So there we go, there is my hand crochet tutorial. I really hope that you've enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date with all of my latest videos, and I shall see you again next time. Bye!